How's the transition going being back here?
The transition's been great. I've been telling all the coaches and the players back here, like they've been asking me. And for me, how I look at it, it's never really a transition when you're coming back home. It's just been open arms, and I've just been loving it every day since I've been here.
I know you don't get the pads on yet for another month or so, but the learning linebacker and all that stuff, picking it back up again, how's that going?
It's going real good as of right now. Just really getting the fundamentals down, just the movements back down, just those defensive movements, lateral movements, just playing downhill. Similar to running back, but just getting a new feel, new install. So every day it's a process, but I'm loving it.
If you had to rate it, how difficult do you think that will be for you to make that move?
Not very difficult. I pride myself in being adaptable a lot, so I feel like this off season is a lot for me to prove, and I'm coming in every day with a chip on my shoulder.
Why did you decide to transfer and change positions?
For me, I just decided to transfer because it was the best decision for me and the outlook of what I want to do in my life and the goals I want to achieve, and potentially competing for a national championship every year. So that's the outlook I had on it. And transferring here, it really, for me, going into the transfer portal, I wanted to be somewhere that had a familiar environment. I didn't want to go somewhere where it was going to be unfamiliar, just have to learn a new whole environment and everything. So coming back here, I felt like it was just the best place to fit myself around a great group of people to push me to reach that next level.
And the transition from running back to linebacker?
Oh yeah, the transition from running back to linebacker, it took a lot of thought, but just long term as of like longevity in the league, and then just looking back how I played linebacker in high school, just willing to take on a new challenge.
When you went into the portal, did you know you were going to switch positions to linebacker, or did you go in the portal with an open mind? I could play running back somewhere else, I could play linebacker somewhere else?
So the crazy thing is, I went into the portal with really an open mind, just to see what all the schools, so just to maximize my options of schools and whatnot. And once it came down to it and evaluating it, I just felt Old State was the best decision for me.
Chip, it looked like maybe had you stayed at ASU, it could have opened up for you to be more of a featured running back,
Yeah.
maybe get more work. Like, how did you kind of weigh that as you were deciding what your next move was going to be?
I didn't weigh it as much. You know me. I bet on myself all the time. So with me, it's just me and my work ethic. So it really, that position change or where I was out on the depth chart really didn't affect me because I know I just work so hard. So it's hard for me not to be on the field. So that really didn't play into effect. I just wanted to come here and compete for a national championship.
Did someone come to you and say, hey, I think maybe you might have better long-term potential on defense, or did you come to that realization yourself?
No. My coaches back here, back home from Hoban, and then just everybody I trained with, they kind of been in my ear about that ever since I entered college. So it's always been in the back of my mind. So I mean, now it's at the forefront and I'm living it. So yeah.
Chip, do you know which linebacker spot fits you best yet?
Honestly, no, I don't know. I'm just coming in, keep my head down, just working every day, and just want to be at the best spot where I can help the team the most at.
How early in this process did you make contact with Steel Chambers? Because obviously he did what you're trying to do just a year ago.
Honestly, me and Steel really didn't talk throughout the whole transfer portal, but we walked by each other, just catch up in the weight room and whatnot in the hallways and stuff. But great guy, he's done great things in his transition over, so I'm definitely looking at film from that too.
Have you asked for his advice or gotten any advice from him about how what to do, maybe especially in these early days as you're making that transition?
No, not yet, because like I said, I played defense all throughout high school, so that defensive nature and instinct is still in me. So I'm just willing to see, waiting to see how spring ball come around and just see how I compete against the other guys.
Chip, obviously, Jim Knowles, that's linebacker is his room, and I'm curious. I mean, he takes a lot of ownership. That's kind of the face of where the change is happening defensively and things like that. So I'm curious. I mean, is that a level of pressure? Is it kind of a guy that you're like, if I'm going to be a top tier linebacker, that's the guy I want to change me? Like, what is your relationship like with Jim Knowles? And
our relationship with Coach Knowles is good. Coach Knowles is doing a real good job of getting to know all the linebackers on the staff. Just going in, all of us one-on-one and just evaluating them. Like each of us getting to pick his brain and whatnot. So I think he'll be definitely a great addition to this. And I feel it's good because everybody's on a clean slate. It's a fresh new start for everybody, and everybody will learn defense at the same time. So the best will play.
Have you guys had a linebackers position meeting with Jim yet, or is that later on?
Nah, later on down the line. Yeah.
Was he the one who recruited you? Like who from OSU reached out to you once you went to the portal?
Once I reached out to the portal, it was Coach Day, Coach Alford, and Coach Washington.
I know that, Coach Alford, I know you guys had a close relationship when you were, in high school. I mean, how much did that kind of encourage you to want to come here?
It encouraged me a lot because Coach Alford always been real with me from the jump. He's just one of those coaches that always had my genuine interest, even when I decided to go out to Arizona State. So just having that relationship in my back pocket the whole time while I was gone, and even once I entered the transfer portal, it meant a lot, and it helped me in the process of picking out State.
What have been some of your early impressions of a guy like CJ Hicks? He's somebody who's been highly touted coming in as a true freshman. What have your impressions of him been like?
Nah, CJ is a hell of a player. Like his room to grow is off the charts. Like he comes in, he works, and just to have his work ethic as a freshman is great. So I think CJ will do great things here at Ohio State.
Just building off of that, you mentioned Jim Knowles. Have you sensed like a buzz about kind of like the weight room and whatnot of like getting a new defensive coordinator? Because Ohio State's, Ryan Day even mentioned it the other day. It's kind of a fresh start for the defense. Do you get that sense at all?
Yeah, we get the sense, but us, we working every day. The season didn't turn out here like how they wanted to, so we're striving every day to push as hard as we can be and get 1% better every day and get our goals.
Maybe what differences have you noticed here so far from being at Arizona State?
The differences I notice here is just really the culture. I'd say the culture is a big difference. Just that winning culture and just coming to compete every day. And expectations are very, very high. That's what I'm normally used to. That's normally what my standards were coming from Akron Hoban. So it feels right being in an environment like this.
Is it just a different level? I mean, is there a different, just with players and coaches, a different level of desire to win than maybe you saw at Arizona State?
It's just higher. I would say it's just higher goals and actually seeing those goals and actually just working to get them every day. Yeah.
You said that they didn't meet expectations last year. They're trying to get back to where they need to be. You were here last year. Does that kind of rub off on you? Are you feeling that already? That you know that they didn't reach the expectations, even though you weren't there. You kind of understand exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, it definitely rubs off on me because even when I was at Arizona State, I always kept my eye on Ohio State because I'm an Ohio guy. So you always root for the home team, but it definitely rubs off on me coming from Ohio because I know the expectations of playing football here at the Ohio State University. So it's definitely going to be a good off season, and we're ready to work.
How quickly did Ryan Day, Tony Alford, and Al Washington reach out to you after you entered?
Pretty quickly, they laid it out for me that defense was the opportunity on the table, and after some days of thought, I took it.
How is the winter workouts? How have they been thus far? We're talking to a number of freshmen who are doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the first time here, but you've been through this before. How do you feel like that's gone for you thus far?
Nah, it feels good. I feel like I'm emptying the tank every day. So that's a good thing, and I feel like I'm getting 1% better every day. So just staying consistent in what I do in the weight room and what I do on the field and what I do in the locker room. So the winter trainings has been very good, and it's just getting started. So I'm excited.
How different is it lifting for a linebacker than it was for a running back in college?
Not really, because I didn't really limit myself. I try to go my max every single day. So it really wasn't no transition weight room wise there. So yeah.
There's a lot of linebackers on this roster, and there's only 2 starting spots now. Two deep spots really anymore. Do you feel that competition already? Does it feel kind of crowded in there that the guys are fighting for scan?
No, it doesn't feel kind of crowded. Everybody on the defense just know at the end of the day what needs to be done coming off of last year, and everybody is just pushing each other to work hard and just to be the best that they can be for the overall team success.
Do you have the option to go back to running back if things don't work out at linebacker?
I don't know yet. That's something we haven't discussed. Right now, I'm full fold, 100% into playing linebacker here. So
you must have incredible confidence because you took a sure thing wherever you played at running back, and you're just in the middle of your career. You're doing this you're not at Iowa State or Middle Tennessee State. I mean, what are some of the people telling you? Like, are you out of your mind? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of support, like I said earlier, just from people that coming out of high school I should have went to the defensive side of the ball. So it's been a lot of support, and that's definitely helped with my confidence and my abilities here. So yeah.
Why didn't you go to defense right out of high school? Like what?
I feel like coming out of high school, I just wasn't ready to give up the ball yet. You know, coming out of high school, especially playing both ways my whole life really. But scoring touchdowns is definitely it's a feeling like you'll never experience again. But I'm looking forward to scoring touchdowns as well and making big plays on the defensive side now. So.
Were there coming out of high school too? How close were you to picking Ohio State, committing? Like, how close were State versus Arizona State?
It was very close. It was literally Ohio State and Arizona State. So it was very close.
And I know people said they thought maybe defense linebacker was your best position in high school. For people who didn't maybe see you play, what did you think you did really well as a high school linebacker that you can kind of like pick up again, like kind of riding a bike?
I feel like my defensive instincts and playing downhill fast, like very, very fast. That's what I pride myself on defense, is just reading and reacting. So just no matter where you at, just going all out, 100% effort every play, trying to make a play on the ball.
Did Ohio State like you both ways initially, or was it solely as a linebacker, solely as a running back?
Initially coming out of high school, it was kind of my pick, but I didn't really know for sure. So I think that might have swayed me to Arizona State more.
And was there any programs out there that solely wanted you at linebacker out of high school, or was it always both?
It was always both. It was always either or my pick, just from my abilities on both sides.
CJ was telling us about a meeting with Coach Washington where he was talking to you guys something about linebackers are going to shock the world or something like that. And then the next day, he was gone.
Yeah.
What kind of happened that next day? How did you guys regroup? Did Coach Day come and have a meeting with you guys about the change? How did that all play out?
No, we found out how everybody else did, really, but we knew it was the best for Coach Washington. We knew the expectations wasn't met here last year, so that's why we brought in a whole new defensive staff. And like I said earlier, everybody's just putting in the work every day just to get back to those goals and expectations of winning the national championship this year.
How did you guys, I mean, when you hear that news, you can speak, I guess, just for yourself, maybe not for the whole room, but does it feel like something got interrupted, now we don't have direction? Did some other coach had to come say something to you guys, or is that just, you just kept the plan that you already had?
No, I feel like a lot of us kept the plan that we already had, because it's a lot of dogs in that linebacker room, like I said. So it's a lot of good guys, and like you said earlier, it's only 2 linebacker positions. So we're doing everything we can to push each other every day, and like I said, the best players will play for the overall team success.
When you were at Arizona State, was there ever a thought in your mind like, hey, I kind of miss playing defense, like I kind of want to go back to that?
A little bit. I say a little bit when I was definitely had a couple opportunities to tackle some people on special teams. It definitely came back into my mind, because on defense you can let out a little bit of frustration, and like you can't do that on offense. But yeah, some plays at Arizona State, yeah, it came back into my mind.
Any eye openers since you got here? Like, wow.
The snow, the snow again. Dealing with the snow again, yeah.
There's more coming.
Yeah, more coming. Yeah.
Was that a bummer? It's like, I'll put up with it.
Nah, I missed it. I just don't got the ideal car for it, but I missed it. So it took me a couple days to adjust, but I'm back to it.
What are you driving?
Little Ford Fusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to getting out on the field at Horseshoe? You mentioned Ohio State was one of your finalists. You grew up in Ohio. Getting a chance to play at a stadium like that as the home team,
Yeah.
what is that going to mean to you when you get that shot?
It's gonna mean a lot for me. Just coming back here, it's always a different feeling where you're playing at home, and just to know a lot of my support and fan base is here, and just to know I have a lot of support at every game, and just being able to play in the shoot almost every week, it's definitely a good feeling, and it'll bring the best out of me every weekend.
Was your family able to travel a lot to the games out there? I mean,
so my whole family, they actually moved out to Arizona. So they'll be traveling back and forth for the games this season.
So now they have to travel further to come back and see you.
Yeah.
They moved out when you moved to Arizona State?
Yeah, so they moved out probably about 6 months after I arrived.
Just because you were there and they wanted the warm weather? I mean, was that?
Yeah, exactly. Escape this. Yeah.
Nice.
You
miss the warm weather at all?
Some days I do. Some days I do, but I mean, weather at the end of the day doesn't play a factor. It's all a mental thing. So.
Do you have a roommate here?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there an older guy that you've seen in the linebacker room that you're like, okay, I want to be like that guy, or that you're kind of gravitating toward, or is there an older guy? Or?
Not really an older guy. I feel like because I'm an older guy myself, basically. Yeah. But it's a lot of guys I look up to, like Taraja and Case Stover, just from them having a dog mentality. I respect that as a football player, and they just come in every day out, work. Tommy Eichenberg, for example, there's countless players in the linebacker room that's just dogs and that put in the work every day.
Does Cade look like he just came from the tight end room, or does he look like he's been a linebacker?
Nah. Cade looked like he just been a dude ever since he came out the womb. Yeah.
You mentioned the expectations here. Kind of compare and contrast Arizona State. I mean, obviously competing in the Pac-12, but this is a program that wants to be in the national championship game every year. How has that been a difference for you coming back here?
It really hasn't been a difference for me personally because I always had high goals. So being at Arizona State, it was always high goals there, but not reaching those goals, and it's kind of heartbreaking. So just coming here and feeling like I can pursue those goals and really meet those goals and win a national championship was a selling point.
Do you have expectations individually for yourself? Are you a guy that sets those for year one, or do you kind of let it fall as it's going to?
I kind of let it fall as it's going through. Right now, I'm just trying to make my footprint when spring ball comes around. So yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned that you had watched some video of some film of Steele from last season. Who else are you watching to kind of help you make this transition, get into that linebacker mindset?
Well, really just a lot of defensive highlights. Really all the defensive highlights to Cody, Tommy, Taraja. Just watching everything from the past defense, just to see positives, negatives, stuff we need to work on, stuff we need to keep. So just really evaluate the whole season and try to bring the good stuff along with us this season.
Is there a specific linebacker spot they've talked to you about playing?
No, not yet.
There's a lot made up about the brotherhood of this team. Have you noticed that just being here not that long?
No, the brotherhood of this team is very, very firm. Every day we walk into this building, it's not like a feeling where it's like where you gotta go to work. It's like a feeling where it's like you want to be here all day because you can work. So that's a big difference here, and I feel like that just invites players to really push themselves every day.
Chip, do you wake up every morning? Do you have a little bit of butterflies because you're in a new place, a new position?
No, I do.
I mean, yeah. Explain what that's like. And you're almost every day you're trying to get better, but prove yourself.
Yeah.
And, did I make the right call? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What's that like?
No, it's definitely nerve-wracking sometimes because you never know, because it's a whole different switch. But I'm here for the good of it, and I just got to remind myself that once the time comes, I'll prove myself. So it's just starting from block one all over again, just building my rep here and just putting in work every day.
Does a linebacker put on an expression, a different face when he goes to practice than a running back? I mean, what's different about? Which you haven't really practiced football, but.
No, I definitely feel like no matter linebacker, anywhere on defense, I feel like you have to just flip a switch, whether it's mentally, physically. You just got to flip a switch when you're on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
Chip, did you tell the coaches here you could play a little corner if you need them, if they need you to?
Nah, I told them I could play anything. So yeah.
Have you talked with Jaden about that state title game? And
yeah,
clamps on him a little bit?
Yeah, I reminded him. He smiled and laughed, but it's just good to be back around guys like Jaden and other Ohio guys that you've seen familiar faces or played against and competed against. So it's good because I didn't play against players like Jaden, Tommy. So it's good to finally be on a team. So yeah.
So Ohio high school football different? Like I don't know around like the locker room in Arizona State and things like that, but is there kind of a different energy, a different kind of mentality from those guys coming up from out of here?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like I'm a big personal advocate for Ohio high school football because a lot of states and a lot of locker rooms, they argue Texas, California, Florida but I always revert back to Ohio because it's just a different type of toughness. Just really in the trenches, really the whole game. You know, a lot of the schools out west and down south, that's more like a spread and West Coast style offenses in high school. But I feel like in Ohio, you can experience a little bit of all of it. So I feel like being in Ohio and playing football here in high school, it definitely readies you. So yeah.
Growing up in this state, did you grow up a Buckeye fan?
So I honestly did not grow up a Buckeye fan. I grew up just neutral. I grew up just loving the game of football. So like I just always admired players that was just great. So like Mike Doss, like Maurice Clarett, like all the Ohio State legends. So like I always admired them. So yeah.
There's a long lineage of great linebackers from Ohio State in the NFL. Is that something that ever crosses your mind or like motivates you? Like, I want to be like that next guy, like a Jerome Baker, or Ryan Shazier, AJ Hawk, someone like that?
No, it definitely crosses my mind, and it definitely is a reason why I made the switch. Just to see that lineage of linebackers being productive in the NFL, and just to see that they was developed here. So I was definitely motivated by that and ready to work every day just so I can get to that level, hopefully.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
When you transferred here, you got the nickname Chip. Where did that come from? What are some of its origins?
Just came from, so when I was 8, started off as blue chip. So as I got older over the years, just shortened down the chip, just easier. But as I got older, I just carried it with me and just carried a chip on my shoulder, no matter if it was football, school, just always prided myself in my work ethic. So yeah.
How is the rest of the roster? Do they still call you Chip? Have they taken that on pretty?
Oh yeah. Everybody taking it on. It was like night and day here. So yeah.
Who has the best nickname on the roster other than yourself, in your opinion? Because I know Mayan Williams has Chop, so that's kind of similar to Chip.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know because I still got to learn everybody's nickname. I don't know. That's a good one.
What kind of linebacker you think you can be?
I feel like I can be a linebacker that can evolutionize the game. I feel like what I could bring from the offensive side of the ball and just from my speed and my physicality will be something different that a lot of people haven't seen in a while. So I feel like me playing linebacker here will be definitely a good thing, and the strength staff here to help me develop into the player I want to be will definitely make it strides, and I think it'll show this offseason.
You must need to change your body. You might have already been asked that, but is there a process with that?
No, not really. I think I'm gonna stay at the weight I'm around right now, which is about like 228-ish. So really staying around that weight and just getting faster and stronger.
You kind of look like a linebacker now, right? I mean, you're already a linebacker.
I was always built like this.
Did you look like this when you played running back?
Yeah.
You were a big physical running back.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, while you were being a running back, did you ever think, man, I might be a linebacker?
No, because I always knew that I can make it happen on both sides.
Okay.
So whenever I was at one position, I was always 100% into it.
Okay.
So, but now I'm here, so I'm 100% linebacker here. So yeah.
Because there'd be some guys like, oh, I'm making a shift from running back to linebacker. It's like, man, you got to put on 15 pounds. But you feel like you're already there physically. Pretty much. That's pretty good. What have you talked? How much have you talked with Mick so far about shaping your body and what may need to be done? Coach
I mean, a lot every day.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, it's just really just getting faster and stronger.
Okay.
My weight goal, where I'm at, body-wise, is pretty good right now. So it's just coming in, getting stronger every day, pushing myself.
Do you feel like the two linebacker spots are pretty interchangeable, or are there some differences between them, or you still kind of have to learn?
I feel like they're pretty interchangeable. I came from a 4.25 in high school at Auburn, so I'm kind of familiar with it. I know it's been a couple of years, but I'm kind of familiar with the defensive mindset that Coach Knowles is bringing here. So I'm looking forward to participating in spring ball.
How nice is Arizona State's campus?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's nice.
What was it like when you visited there for the first time?
It was hot.
It was hot?
It was hot.
Too hot?
It was hot. It was like, it was maybe about like 101, 102. It was hot.
Whoa.
It was hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you ever think to yourself, oh, I wish I would have done this then? Or do you think like, oh, I made a big decision and this is my path and this is how stuff works out?
Yeah, the past 3-4 months, the portal, being here, really just looked at life coming in full circle. I never would have thought I would have been back here home at Ohio State, so I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. So, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20. You seem mature.
20's an old guy in college football.
Oh, yeah, now it is, yeah.
Hey, Chip, I couldn't hear you as well because of the tractor or whatever's going on. I think they're plowing the field.
I know.
You said a minute ago you want to revolutionize it. Linebacker, what was the word you used? I was trying to pay attention.
Revolutionize the play of linebackers. I feel like what I can do on the defensive side of the ball, especially with me coming over from running back, just with my speed and physicality alone, and then just chopping up my mechanics, that's a goal of mine. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to really get to the national championship and help this team in whatever ways I can.
How interesting is it though? Because the two guys that started at linebacker, at least played a lot in linebacker in Roseboro. Cade Stover, former tight end. Steel Chambers, former running back. Are you guys starting a revolution as you revolutionize this? I mean, is that an interesting room that you guys were on the other side of the ball just a couple of years ago?
I mean, it's crazy that you say that because I don't think it got to be spoken of just because the guys that's in the room. When you just have that many dogs in the room, I feel like it kind of just speaks for itself, and that's the standard that's held every single day when you step into the building. So, yeah.
Hey, have you gotten to watch much of Coach Knowles' defense? I mean, did you watch it at all?
I watch highlights on YouTube and everything so far. So, yeah.
What do you like about? What stands out about it to you that looks a little different? I mean,
he puts players in position to make plays. So that's what I love about it. He's great defensive mindset, and I'm ready to see what we can do this offseason.
Sorry to do this, and I'm sure you already answered it, but this is how it works here when you're like 40 reporters.
You're fine.
You get the same question 10 times. When you went in the portal, did you go in the portal as a linebacker?
I went in the portal as open-minded.
Did you describe that? Like, how did you make the decision? I'm going to go in open-minded. We'll see what fits best. Did you really hope it would work out at linebacker or hope it would work out at running back? What was your thought process?
Just going in open-minded just to see what schools would reach out to me. So just really maximizing my opportunities with school-wise. But once it came down to it, just really evaluating it. And at the end of the day, coming back home, surrounding myself with the best people so I could become my best self.
Did some schools that contacted you in the portal talk to you about running back?
Oh, yeah.
So some were running back, some were linebacker.
Yeah.
Did you have coming back to Ohio in the back of your head when you decided to put your name in the portal?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely in my head just because when you come back home and you come back to play for a program like this, it's always gonna be in your head. So I was definitely intrigued by this opportunity once it came to me, and now I took it and ran with it. Now I'm here.
How much were your family and friends able to come see you play out there, and how excited or what did they think about the idea of you coming back home?
So once I moved out there, my immediate family moved out there. So
nice.
Yeah, they moved out there 6 months after I arrived on campus, and they loved it out there. So they'll definitely be traveling back and forth a lot this upcoming season.
So now they're going to still be out there?
Oh yeah,
they're not leaving.
Nah,
and you're coming back home?
Yeah, they're not leaving.
So who is it that's out there then?
My mother, my sister, grandma, great grandma, and my uncle.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That weather, man. You said it was 102, but most of the time it's pretty nice.
Yeah, around this time is perfect. So yeah.
When the snowstorm hits here and you're calling your family.
Exactly, and they're laughing at me.
Hanging out by the pool.
Yeah.
You changed their lives.
Yeah.
Really, when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty great. Hey, what is the thing when you put on pads and finally get to practice real football? What is the thing you think you will bring to the fore that, as a linebacker, that like you talk about revolutionizing position and stuff, but what just yearns in you about playing that position?
Just flipping a switch. You gotta go. When you're on the defensive side of the ball, you just gotta go to a different place. It's called the dark side for a reason, and it's just playing with a different mentality. So just bringing speed, toughness, and physicality literally every single play. So yeah.
Thanks, Chip.
You're welcome.
All right,
do you
all good
feel
over here?
about-
Oh, last question.
Just growing up in Ohio,
Yeah.
how do you feel about actually getting to play in the game, like potentially playing in the game at the end of the year?
Man, it was so crazy because I was watching that game probably about a week before I entered the portal, and I was just like, man, that's one of those games like that's one of those games that you got to play in. So it was definitely in my head. But growing up here in Ohio and just knowing the rivalry, it was you know the meaning of the game, you know the significance, and now that I get to be a part of it, I'm looking forward to it.